Hi there, it's Natasha, and today I have a quick haul to show you of some stamps and dies and other stuff for card making and crafting. First up I have this butterfly and ladybird die. The butterfly's body measures about 2 inches and this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card front in the background, just so that you can get an idea of the size. So they're kind of big, they're definitely not small, and here's the little stripes for the butterfly, and I guess you could make them into a bee if you were a bit creative, a bumblebee if you were a bit creative, and then some spots to go on the back of the ladybird. Next up I have some flower dies. I love my little flower dies, and create 3 types of flowers, and I've just made some a minute ago. These are nothing in particular, just so that I can show you basically what I guess you can make. I'll just zoom in a wee bit. So these are the ones that I just made, and they're just made up of vellum and glitter cardstock and a couple of different pinks that I had lying around. So yep, nothing in particular, just so that you can get an idea of what they look like, what the little flowers look like. And okay, just shift these off. Next up I have these banner dies. Now I'm sorry I've left them in the plastic, it's just much easier to hold them all together. So the largest one from the end to the tip is around about, it's about 6 3/4 inches, and the smallest one I think I measured earlier on is about 4 1/2 from end to tip. So they have stitching on them, and obviously they just cut an empty banner. So that's cool. Next up I have some stamps. This is a little stamp set just of these little grid patterns. And I think I'll mainly use these for sort of background interest. The stamp set is about 4 by 6 inches stamp set. So as I said, that's on this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card on the back. So I've been looking forward to using these ones, and then these ones I've been looking forward to using too. This is a huge stamp set, and I'll just get this piece of paper here. This is about 8 inches by 6 inches stamp set, and just with all these fabulous patterns on it that I'm looking forward to using in my card making. And then next up after that I have a couple of different things. So the first up is these what do you call them, plastic sleeves I guess, for cards. Now be warned, so this is one of them here, and I think if I take away this it'll be easiest for you to see them. These have a little hole in them that you can see there. It doesn't super bother me once it's got a card in it. It might bother you, I'm not sure. So this is about 4 and almost 4 3/4 by, depending, and I guess the top is like, they're kind of by 6 inches, and you can kind of fold the top at different places depending on how much bulk is in your card or whatever. In this one here I have this is an undecorated 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card, and then an envelope to match on the back. And yes, this one's undecorated, so it can definitely have a bit more bulk on the front, but just so that you get the idea, there's a little hole, if you can see the little hole, and it is on the other side too. There's a little hole on that side, and you just pull off the little plastic release and fold it over, and it fits your card in nice and snugly. So you would obviously do it, have your card the other way, so that this was the front and it was all nice and pretty. But yeah, so just in case you were looking for some plastic sleeves, those would be great for your cards. Couple more things I have. I purchased these little star brads, and these are just for decoration, and more often than not I just snip these off with some wire snips, and I just use the little stars. I quite like the little stars to go in shaker pouches and things. These stars in particular are about 1/2 inch across. So yeah, I guess they're kind of bigger than smaller. But yeah, that's that. And then last up, I also bought some burlap ribbon, I guess do you call it? Yeah, to go across my cards for a couple of rustic looking cards. I saw one on Pinterest that looked amazing, so I purchased some to give that a go. This burlap in particular is it's about almost 2 centimeters wide, so it's about 3/4 of an inch wide, and I can't remember how many meters. There might be 10 meters or so on here. Last but not least, I did want to oh, I know which one. I have one more actually, if I can find it. Where did I put it? Oh, I have a couple more, sorry. I have a couple more dies. I knew I was feeling a bit short. So this one is one I ordered the same time as I ordered the Clouds, Swirly Clouds one. And the Clouds one that I got was about 4 1/4 by 2 1/2 or so inches. So anyway, this one is a full 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, sorry. So this is a full card front, and this is sort of a windy swirly feature, and it just cuts around the outside, and then it sort of embosses these little things here. I have a little, so that's what it looks like. And then the last one that I have is this one here, and this is just a I don't know what kind of pattern you call that, a nice background, and then here is a single tiny little you know, singular thread that I imagine that you can use for adding more dimension onto your project or your card. This little die itself measures around 3 3/8 by, yeah, 3 3/8 square. And so this is what it cuts out. Here's the little singular piece, and then here's this bit here. I will have you note that there are some pieces, I'm not sure that I can pick this up in the camera, there are some pieces like these pieces here that don't have cutting blades on them, so they end up looking like these bits. So those bits don't go, so you can see those ones go all the way through, and these bits kind of deboss. So yeah, you can kind of see that they don't go all the way through. So anyhow, that's just, well, maybe you can see better there that they don't go all the way through. But kind of a cool cutting pattern, and someone on a Facebook group that I'm in told me about using, well, told everybody about using sometimes your dies, this die came wrapped up in this foam, thin foam protective layer. It came all wrapped up nicely like that. This stuff is gold for die cutting. And so what I did, I ran this through once and it didn't cut great, so I just cut a little square out like that and then ran it through. So I did, I'll show you for my Cuttlebug, and everybody's machine will be different, so I don't know. But anyway, so I have my B plate down the bottom, and my B plate is the one that I just use to cut, as you can see, and my C plate I try and keep nicer on top. So you have your bottom cutting plate, and then you have your piece of foam, and then you have your paper, and then your die, and then your top cutting plate. So obviously you would just cut a little piece of foam off, though you wouldn't have this big piece. But anyhow, that's the sandwich that you would need if you were going to cut this one. So just like normal, except for you'd have a little piece of foam underneath your paper that you wanted to cut into. And I like that one too. Okay, that's all I've got to show you today. I will be back soon with some more videos and another haul as I have things piling up. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!